Some remember Tanglin Halt for the smell of the bakeries, the sound of the passing trains, and the warmth of neighbors and friends. And these will soon be memories.
But I think most of the flats are coming down. Some have already come down.
Well, I actually have a lot of memories there. Like, I grew up there for like a short span of 5 years, but it's really a lot to me.
I really feel the kampong spirit all over Singapore is missing.
Let's take a tour around and learn from people who used to call this place home.
Time is a social institution, rhythm of tides, rhythm of biological processes. In the same way that language is, that number is, that concepts are we going to take time seriously? That is the big question.
Back in 2014, the Housing and Development Board chose Tanglin Halt to undergo the Selective En-bloc Redevelopment Scheme, also known as SERS. HDB uses SERS to rejuvenate old estates and helps to resettle residents. Most of the buildings in Tanglin Halt date back to 1962. All 31 apartment blocks, the markets, and the food center are scheduled for demolition by 2024. A total of 3,480 households have been affected. Some have settled into new estates like Dawson and Forfa. As of now, only a few blocks of flats and some shops remain.
I have lots of memories. My father had a medical clinic right at Block 74, and it was a place filled with activities. My father would treat all the people around the kampong and essentially looking after a lot of factory workers also in the surrounding areas. We always had different people using it as a place of gathering. Not only do you come to see the doctor, you also sort of meet your friends there.
Well, I actually have a lot of memories there. Like, I grew up there for like a short span of 5 years, but it's really a lot to me. And like the time we used to like play around the playground, running along the corridors and the water fountain at the back of our estate I really miss those times.
You know, I was born here. We were the first few families to move from Tiong Bahru, Eng Hoon Street, to this first satellite town. And it was an incredible experience living here.
Right.
It's a hive of activity. To us, there's no Orchard Road yet. So this was where we bought all our things.
I know it is the invisible parts of Tanglin Halt that matter more. The people, their relationships, their shared experiences. I got a chance to hear from them.
So in Tanglin Halt, it's a flat where I shared with my second brother and my mom. My neighbor on my right is a couple with 2 adult children, a housewife, and the husband is a taxi driver. So I think those days, they tend to keep their doors open in the daytime, windows open.
I had my family, my uncles and grandma who live on the 4th story, and we would gather there each day for our meals. You can always go there for a mahjong session anytime throughout the day. Or some of them even come there to exchange 4D numbers. At that time, 4D betting wasn't legal, so we had all these runners coming to get their bets.
So it's nice, to have neighbors to greet and who say hello to you, who's friendly.
And speaking of friendly, I got a rare chance to see Yong Chuan's old house.
Welcome to a place that really meant a lot to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, but then I have quite a good friend staying just right down the corridor there. So basically like during festive seasons, we will always like exchange chocolate and sweets. So she will always run down and then pass me some chocolates. And after that, I will take some from the fridge and then run back there and give her some of my chocolates and stuff lah. Yeah, that's how we bond. Okay. It's a small corridor, small neighborhood, but then the bonding was really very real, very tight. Wow, that's like so sweet and so nice of her because me and her are quite close. We go to the same childcare together, but I didn't expect her to like run over here like during the holidays just to give me chocolates. And I feel so happy back then because it's like chocolates, like every children will like the chocolates and sweets and stuff.
Can I ask, are you still in touch with her?
No, I don't even know what's her name or. Yeah.
I'm not sure whether you call it the kampong spirit. I don't have such neighbors now, you know. Not that they are unfriendly, but I don't know them. Maybe no one is making the effort these days.
In the old days, I can never remember that anyone's doors were ever locked. It was always open. So we moved from house to house, door to door, to sort of interact with each other. But today, everything is locked. I think we have more possessions to steal now than last time.
It was an immersive and nostalgic experience. However, reality quickly set in for us at Yongquan's former residence.
Okay, so for the buildings around here, the government are actually collecting back the units for redevelopment purposes. And let's say for this unit, the government will issue them this notice of possession to state that, okay, this household itself is reclaimed back by the government already. And then after this entire area is demolished, you'll build like new houses or something lah.
As of this video, we have yet to know what is the future plan for the estate. What I do know is that no trains will ever pass this iconic area again. So if I was on the train and I looked out, can I see your flat?
Yes, 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 yes.
And once in a while, you'll hear the train passing by. And that was something quite annoying when you're trying to talk or do a recording, but definitely it was something very nostalgic.
So this used to be the railway track that I had to cross over to go to the Portsdown area.
Hey, look out, train is coming.
Yeah, so being a kid and being a bit scared of the train, I will make sure that no train is coming before I quickly cross the path.
Opened in 1932, the Tanglin Railway ran all the way from Tanjong Pagar in Singapore to the north in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia.
So the trains used to come by many times a day, and it's very romantic, to have this old train go past, but it's also very noisy. Yeah, it's such that when the train is coming, if I'm on the phone, I'll be telling my friend, hey, stop talking, we can't hear each other, you just have to let the train pass. I mean, you get used to it, it's really noisy when it goes past because it's just behind my window. I mean, it adds to the adventure of living here as a teenager, as a child.
The railway was eventually closed in 2010. I heard that if I was transported 30 years back in time, the sounds and aroma of the market will be the most distinct thing I will recognize of Tanglin Halt.
And I used to eat the char siu. They will buy it, they won't cut it for me, so they'll cut me a whole slab of the char siu and then you just bite it off, right? Rather than slice it off. So that's something that, wow, we can never do that nowadays because that will cost you $10.
If I wake up in the morning, I will wake up to smell of bakery. Because the block adjacent to us was, I would say, 4 or 5 bakeries where they bake the local bread and the smell of the bread is not your croissant smell. It's a unique, homegrown kind of smell which really makes the whole place very pleasant.
So this is part of the market, that we frequent, buy things from. One of the shops that we used to buy like red bean bun from, and loaves of bread, occasional cake is the confectionery there. It's still there. Yeah, it really has a very old feel even now. I think the rest of the shops have gone through certain changes. Don't look quite the same.
So Melody, which is your favorite biscuit?
So if I come here, I will buy this. I like this. Yeah, I don't think I can buy this anywhere else in Singapore. Yeah.
And I saw this, right? Open, can you smell it?
I also like this. Yeah.
Durian biscuit. Yeah, I actually haven't seen this before.
Oh, that's a lot of essence.
When I was staying in Tanglin Halt, right, my dad will always bring me to the Tanglin Halt wet market and we'll just buy groceries there. And it was something that I really treasure a lot because that was a period where I really hang out a lot with my dad and it was very memorable lah.
Okay, what were your memories of the wet market?
So the wet market itself, back when I was a child, a very young child, the wet market itself wasn't as clean, wasn't as big and wasn't as bright. So right now, as you can see, it's cleaner, it's more spacious and also it's brighter now. There was one particular store that I was very fond of, which was the roast pork and char siu store. And then the uncle will always cut a few pieces of char siu and roast pork for me to eat when I visit him.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of miss the dirty and dark atmosphere that the hawker centers give because that's like, it's something that's in my memory lah. Like that's a place I've been to, I've patronized a lot, and the feel is just different lah.
It feels different. Indeed, change was inevitable and merciless. In part 2, I learned how change is the only constant and how we can learn to live with it.
I really feel the kampong spirit all over Singapore is missing.
Visually, it's erased. It's not so easy to cope with.
I really feel sad because it's really a very important part of my childhood.